see, what is the key to building a positive sales culture starts with being a great sales coach. Now, what I mean by that, now I know that we are all termed as a manager, sales managers, but you see, if you truly want to be not just a manager, but to be a sales leader who is capable of unleashing and unlocking the fullest potential of your people, and that's what I believe that all of us are here for. Am I right? So how can we learn to build a positive sales culture? Now, I'm going to share with you a very simple technique today, and that allows you to really have a good insight and do a self-reflection on how are we creating a culture today, our own sales culture to develop our people. You see, I truly believe that there are four different ways to coach our people, or how do we give our feedback to them, and it's based on something that I want to teach you. It's called the radical candor approach. Now, what's the radical candor approach is this? So it simply means if I'm going to draw this out in a matrix system, so it's to work something like this. You see, our ability to coach our people boils down to two aspects. Now, what are the two aspects? Number one is our ability to challenge them directly. Right? So challenge them what? Directly. Okay, so what it means to say is that, now, how many of you know that we need to be able to challenge our people, challenge our team to achieve their targets? I believe most of us are in doing what we are doing today because this is something that comes pretty natural to us, being able to challenge them directly. And however, the thing is this, studies have also shown that great sales managers are also people who are able to demonstrate their ability to I'm going to put it with another marker right here. And they need to also be able to care personally. So I just want to give credit. This is something that I learned from Radical Candor. It's a really, really great book that I highly recommend that you can study and that you can apply in sales coaching, I believe. And so the thing is this. One is what? How we challenge. The other is by means of how we show care in a personal way. Now, how does this work out? You see, think about this. Isn't it true that many of us tend to fall into what I term as the extremes in life? Extremes meaning to say that there are times where some of us are so focused on challenging because we are so task driven and we are so focused on getting the results that sometimes we forget to care personally. And if there's something that we need to bring across in a nice way, because sometimes putting it in a nice and motivating way actually gets the results. But we just go hit bang, because we just want the message to be heard. So this is what we call, if you're someone, alright, by the way, and no offense here, but if you're someone who tends to have a tendency to challenge directly, but your ability to care personally is not really there. We call this what? Something known as an obnoxious aggression. Okay, obnoxious aggression. What does it mean to say is that sometimes you might come across to your people as someone who is very aggressive. Again, nothing wrong with that, but ask yourself this question, now how are you going to motivate your people and sustain that motivation in the long run if you are constantly come across as someone who is hard on them? And you do not show enough care for them, empathy for them. Now, however, you see, that's the thing about the human paradox. There could be times also that we might fall into the other extreme. Now, what's the other extreme? The other extreme is where we might end up being afraid to challenge. How many of you find yourself in situations where sometimes, I hate to say this to someone, how I wish this person, and then sometimes you might just end up saying, you end up trying to hint that person to get things done, to buck up. But the thing is, because you're so afraid to challenge the person directly, but you do care for that person, that you end up in what I call in a position, we call it a ruinous empathy. Ruinous empathy. Meaning to say, you might be showing so much empathy. Now, I know it's important for us to practice empathy. Put yourself in the shoes of your people because you care for them. But sometimes, guys, if we are afraid to challenge them, we are afraid to say the things that people may not want to hear it. right? Because you see, perception is projection. Sometimes we do not like getting into conflict, and then that's what we project it in someone else that we are trying to coach. So it may end up ruining the relationship in the long run. Are you following me so far? But the thing is this, if you want to truly learn to be a great coach, to build a positive sales culture, and by the way, before I move into the final part, I just want to share one of the worst ways to manage or to lead your people is this manner, what I call manipulative insincerity. So what does it mean? Meaning to say there are times where you think that someone should be doing something better. You're not happy with one of your sales reps. But the thing is this, instead of challenging the person directly, instead of confronting him, you're so afraid to get into conflict. Or you don't really, maybe put it this way, you don't really care after all. So what you do is that, on one hand, you might even say something flattering to this person. But the worst part is that behind the person's back, and you know of friends like this, and you're saying something bad behind the person's back. Now that's one of the worst ways to manage your people. And I've seen bosses, I've seen leaders, who fall under this category. And you know what? That's where they create such a toxic culture and environment that people will ultimately leave. Okay, so that's called manipulative insincerity. But I guess all of us are here because we all aspire to be the best leaders out there and to be the best coach out there. So how do you achieve that? It's where we want to move from wherever you are right now. Maybe you are in this segment of being of ruinous empathy, manipulative insincerity, or obnoxious aggression. Now, our objective is to reach this phase, which is what I call being a radical candor. Being a radical candor. Now, what does it mean to be a radical candor? It means now you have evolved to become a sales leader. Someone who can truly coach and create a positive sales culture for your organization, because you are someone who's not afraid to challenge your people directly. But yet you notice this, you're not there just to challenge them and to be hard on them, but at the same time, because you have a relationship with them. The key here is what? That's right, the relationship. When you have a relationship with them, when you are able to gain their trust, now what happens is this, you show that you care personally. Now, whatever they're going to say, but you're radical about it, you are very candid about it. Now, people do appreciate it. I say people do appreciate it. And that's how you get to build a positive and a highly motivating sales culture.